So today I find myself with a miraculous amount of time. My kids are out of the house with my husband, and I have a small window this afternoon to get into my art supplies. And I don't really know what I want to do. So when I'm feeling a little bit unsure of what I want to do and where I want to start, I like to just work on an ongoing project that I have. And one is making my swatch cards. So I had showed this in my last video, how I like to do this, or the video before maybe it was. And so I think that's what I'm gonna do. I still have a couple watercolor palettes that I haven't made swatch cards out of yet, or with yet, including my White Nights palette, which I did feature in my last video. So I'm going to make a swatch card out of it so that I can just get more time getting to know these paints. Then I can have a really nice reference and just have some fun exploring paints. So in order to make my swatch cards, I like to use the same paper every single time. So I choose the Canson XL paper because it's a really reliable, affordable, accessible paper. It holds watercolor well because it's obviously a watercolor paper, but it's not super high quality in the sense that it's extremely expensive. It's not 100% cotton, but it's widely considered a really good workhorse paper, and I use it all the time for all kinds of projects. I love using it for mixed media just because it holds pretty much anything I throw at it. And so I think it's great for swatch cards, and I like to use the same paper every time for consistency's sake, so that as I swatch things and learn about my paints, I can at least understand how my paper should be working with it, and the paper won't be the question mark if I have some questions about my paints. The other thing I enjoy is stamps. So I use stamps just to make the swatches fun. So you can find regular shape stamps like circle stamps, or I have these rectangle stamps that are actually, I think I got off Temu a long time ago, that are intended for swatching. But for me, to make it fun, I enjoy pulling in stamps from my stamp collection. So this is like a cute kitty stamp that I had. I also scrapbook, and I had bought last year somebody's scrapbooking stamp collection and used off of Marketplace because this company went under, and I got all these fun stamps to play with, and I don't use them enough. So I like to bring in different shapes just for fun. So this is a kitty, and I have it on a acrylic block to stamp with. The other thing that you need is ink to make the stamps to make your swatch cards. So I use a permanent ink. I like to use this one by Hero Arts. It's what I have on hand, but it specifically says that it's waterproof, and that's what you need. Not all inks are the same, and some of them are very deliberately water reactive. So you want one that is waterproof. Another one that is waterproof are Tim Holtz. Their archival range of inks are waterproof, but they're not, there's a lot of Ranger Tim Holtz stuff, so you have to be a little bit mindful. So I brought some examples that are not waterproof. So the Memento here it's fade resistant, and I think it says water resistant, but it's not waterproof. And I can tell you from experience that when you start using this and swatching on it, it will bleed. The Distress Oxide inks are deliberately water reactive, so they will, if you use these, they will actually create all kinds of reactions. So you don't want to use Distress Oxides for this. Same with the regular Distress ink. They are just not waterproof, but they're more just like a dye-based ink. And same with these old Close to My Heart ones. These are, similar things from, what are they called? Stampin' Up! And all those kind of companies. They're all not waterproof. They might be water resistant, fade resistant, archival quality, but they must be waterproof. So just wanted to make that distinction to save you all from making some of the mistakes that I've made in the past. To get the spacing right, I just measure my spacing. So I made some marks here where I would want to write some information about what I'm swatching. And then I drew some lines on how I want to space this like horizontally. So I'm going to do 3 rows of 4. And then I'm going to just, draw some lines to mark off like where 4 sections to make the stamp. And then it's just going to be guides, and they're done in pencil so I can erase them. Another little tip I have is to always swatch or always test your stamp on scrap paper before you start stamping it. It just helps to make sure that it's clean, like there's no dust particles or whatever on it. It helps break in the stamp because they do need to be seasoned a little bit and broken in. And it's just good practice. So I'm just going to stamp it a few times and make sure I get a good crisp stamp. There you go. And as you can see from my first stamp, it wasn't as crisp there, and then on my second one it was, and that's just because it got kind of juicier as I was using it. So it's always a good habit to stamp it once or twice before you go in to your project of what you're actually stamping. Okay, so with my test done, I'm just gonna go in there and start stamping, and you just have to watch out and not get everything on your fingers like I do. And this isn't, I'm not too worried about it. I have these lines set so that I can put the kitty's eyes in line with the lines, and I'll make it a lot easier. So I'm just gonna do the first one on camera, and then I'll come back when I'm done doing the rest. With watercolor paper, I found that it's best to hold it for a few extra seconds. And there we go. Nice, cute, crisp kitty. Okay, swatch card is all set up and ready to go. I titled it, put a date there, and I also labeled my swatches so that they're ready. I erased my lines for the most part. I just use simple pencil, so I'm not really that worried about it. Okay, so now I'm all set up, and I'm wet my paints, and I'm just going to start. Just got my scrap paper here as well. I have 2 cups of water next to me, and I'm just gonna start playing with them. So first thing I wanna do, there we go, a little bit off of the side just to make sure. Excuse me. Okay, so I've wet my paints. I have a number 8 round, and I'm going to start just swatching. Okay, just coming in from a different angle. Get some close-ups there of my kitties before they dry. And then when they're dry, I'll just go in and probably frame it in. And if I want to take any additional notes, I can do that. But that's my swatch card. Okay, so the swatches have dried. And I'm just gonna do little close-ups just for fun, because I was trying to capture the granulation and drop in some additional water so that you could see, or I could see when I reference these, what types of textures and funness I could get out of it. And some of them were interesting. Like I found this one here to be very creamy in texture almost. This one was very typical. It reminded me of a Daniel Smith one that I have. But they're super beautiful. And I'm so grateful that I have them. My husband bought me these. And it's wonderful to have them all set up in a nice swatch card like this because it's super cute. And the long-term plan is to like kind of make like a swatch book that's full of swatches that are cute and fun to look at and will make great references for me when I'm looking for what kind of supplies I would like to use. So now I'm all done with my swatch card and I get to add it to my rest of my swatch cards, and I thought I would show them off and how cute it is to create swatch cards this way. So here's my try art where I used my flowers, my Caran d'Ache gouache palette where I used these circles because I was not familiar with gouache at all at this time, so I went with something pretty standard. My Daniel Smith where I made beautiful and adorable dragonflies. I just couldn't resist. It was very gardeny and my Roman Small Urban Sketcher palette. I used little houses because it's Urban Sketcher. I thought that was cute. And then of course my White Nights granulating watercolors that I just completed. I made kitties because I love that and I thought it was adorable and fun. So I love that I was able to make these little fun swatch cards. I do use them a lot as reference when I'm looking for colors and just kind of deciding what I want to play in. And then the process of making swatch cards is always a learning process as well. In my opinion, the more you touch your art supplies, the more you learn. And so even doing something as simple as making swatches will teach you something. And when you make simple swatch cards like this, it's really honestly like it's no fault. Like there's nothing, you can't really go wrong. You're just coloring in stamps. So it's cute. It's a fun project, but it also helps keep me keep organized and makes great references. So I hope you enjoyed the little video and how I make my swatch cards, and hopefully I'll see you all next week.